Hello and good afternoon. This is our first database dive program here in the library. So thank you all for coming. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a database called Academic Search Complete. And please help yourself to some snacks. We have cookies, chips, water, all sorts of good stuff. And in addition to all of us here in the space today, we do have people joining us online, so it's very exciting. I do want to take a quick moment and tell you about an upcoming program. How many of you like dogs? Raise your hand if you're a dog lover. Sam, I don't see your hand up, and I know you love dogs. Yeah. So we have therapy dogs once a month now in the library. And our next therapy dog session is October 13th. That's a Friday, and it will be from 2 to 4 p.m. So we have lots of dogs, 2 hours Friday afternoon, November 10th and December 8th.
Right here.
Yeah, right here in this area. So yeah, so we hope you'll come out. We have other programming coming up. We have a IEEE coming in October, so that's a really good source of information for anybody who is in engineering. And they're going to talk about using their IEEE database and then how to publish on their platform. So anybody who is in engineering, that's a session you probably do not want to miss. They'll have food here, and they'll have information on joining IEEE prior to the event up in the atrium. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started with Academic Search Complete. We picked this one to start the seminar series because it's a good introductory database. It covers a wide variety of topics, and it has content from over 2,700 different academic journals that are full text, not open access, and peer-reviewed, and we'll talk about some of those terms as we get into the session. It does include images, and it also includes video content, and that can be very helpful as you're pulling together presentations in your classes. So it's a really good choice when you are beginning your research. If at any point you are using your library resources either on campus or online and you run into trouble, I recommend that you go into our chat, and you see it right here listed on the homepage 24/7. That's Help Online with a real human librarian. They can access our resources just like you can. They can help you find a keyword. They can help you refine a subject area. They can tell you if you are maybe not in the best database and you should be using something else. So it's a very good resource. I like to tell students to take about 10 minutes searching independently. And if you do not find what you're looking for, please jump into chat before you get frustrated and start wasting your time, because time is valuable. You're students, you have a lot of responsibilities. So, okay, let's jump into our session. So again, we're talking about a database today, and a database is a large, regularly updated digital file that can include abstracts or summaries, full text documents, images, and statistics, things of that nature. And it's related to a specific subject or field. And it has records of this information that are organized for librarians and people to use that make it easier and faster to find what you're looking for. We're going to be talking today about peer-reviewed articles. And peer-reviewed means it's scholarly, it's academic, and it requires an article to be subjected to a critical evaluation process by a group of peers or people, experts, researchers in that field that look for content that is matching the journal the person is applying to publish in, and they evaluate the originality, like, is it plagiarized? Did they steal this information, or did they come up with it on their own? They look at the quality of research, the accuracy of the research, the clarity of the presentation, and then they decide if it's good information or not. Sometimes they will send it back to the author and ask for a couple of revisions to be made before they publish that. We'll also be talking today about citations. So citations are where the information lives. It's like an address. And it can be a written or spoken reference to information. And in library use and with your papers that you're writing, your professors will ask you to always include your citations in your writing so they can go back and look at the resources that you are using. And then another word that you're going to hear, another phrase that you're going to hear us mention a lot today is full text. And that just refers to the entire text of a single work that you can look at immediately. Okay? And if you left me your email, or if you choose to do so after the presentation, I can send you a PowerPoint on this. I don't have it ready right now, but it will be ready probably later today. Okay, our first steps is, well, how do we get to this amazing thing that she's talking about? We're going to go to the library. That's library.ltu.edu. And on that library homepage, you see academic resources down here in the lower left, academic resources. And we're going to go to databases A to Z. And we're doing a live search today, so I'm really hopeful that our internet will hold. And the first database is Academic Search Complete. It's right there, the first thing you see. So we're going to go in. And again, we're looking at this one because it has a lot of content on a lot of different topics, so pretty much all of our majors can find something in there that's useful. And I like to say when you're starting a search, you might not know the exact keyword or subject or really what you want to investigate, so you might put 1 or 2 words into a search, and then as you go through your process and refine your topic, you're going to have more things that you can put into your search. So in the beginning, you put 1 or 2 words in, you're going to get so many results back. And later on, when you have more of an idea, you've honed down your topic and you have more information to include in your search, you're going to get far fewer results, but it will be much more accurate and much more relevant for what you're actually looking for. So we'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to point out some, I'm moving again, Anthony, sorry, some information on the ribbon here at the top. We have publications, subject terms, cited references, images, and more. The more is really for us librarian folk, but we'll take a quick look at the other ones. So publications means what journals can you find in this database? Every once in a while, a professor will tell you, I want you to look at this specific database. And this is one way to determine if it's included or not. Bear with me just a moment. Thought I was in. So we're going to take a look at the Journal of Urban Technology. Do we have any architecture, civil engineers in the crowd today? Hey, Caitlin, thinking of you, girl. So Journal of Urban Technology. Do we have it or not? We've got over 2,700 titles in this database. Let's see if this one is one of them. So you get a screen result like this. Apologies, that's not where I need to be. Just a moment. Publications, there we go. All right, this is interesting. This did not work like this at home. There we go, I'm in the wrong field, that's why. So what I actually did was enter it in the top field, which is searching the entire database. I wanted to search for the journal title, so that's in the second field. So even librarians make mistakes. It's easy to have happen. So we're going to browse and see if we do have that. And we do. I don't know how well you can see the screen, but the title presents. Here it's the first one to pop up. And the first line underneath that title says we have bibliographic records from April 1st, 1998 to present. So that tells you the date range. So if you were looking for something in that journal from 1950, we wouldn't have it here because it's outside of that date range. We have full text from April 1st, 1998 until 15 months ago. And that 15 months ago is generally a date that's put out by the publisher. It's not from us. And it says that we also have it in PDF and HTML. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So that's how to use this search functionality. Subject terms, you can look here to brainstorm ideas. How many of you have trouble when you're starting a project and you're not really sure what you want to do your topic on, what you want to do your research on. I quite often run into that issue. And so this is a way, it's a little slow here. Let's go back out. This is a way to maybe get some ideas of what you want to use. So again, we're going to go down to the second field, academic search complete in subject terms, and I thought I might look into information technology. And a subject means that you are looking for information that's about that topic. It's not a keyword. A keyword means information, technology, and the phrase information technology is what the database is searching for anywhere in that record. So you could have an author's name. It's unlikely. You could have an author's name of information technology and it would find it that way. Subject means the article is about that information. And I picked this term because there's so much. There are pages of this. We can look into information technology as it relates to economics, politics, society, the environment. If you're looking for information technology in accounting or case studies, management standards, it goes on and on and on. It's very specific. And you could say, well, maybe I want to look into social aspects, right? Social media and things like that with information technology and society. And I could click there and it will give me options there. Okay. Cited references is the next object on the ribbon, but we'll come back to that one. And let's take a look at the images search. I found this one to be a little clunky to use, to be honest. But let's see if we can get some good results here. Again, I did information technology, and we are in the image collection. I don't know if you can see it here. It says image collection, so that's our search box. And I thought I would do information technology and healthcare. Okay, and then I'm going to search. I'm sorry, I left something out. For this search, maybe my interest or my assignment says I need to include a graph or a chart or a diagram. So if I scroll down that page, I have different options to add to my search. And I'm going to search for a graph, a chart, or a diagram. And then I have things populate. So the first one is medical information technology. And this one is from 2009. So it's a little dated. The next one is also from 2009. So it's a little dated. The third one is from April 2009. So it's a little dated. This might be outside of the scope of publication or your date range. So to find more recent images, I can go to relevance and do a date sort, and it will flip. Instead of giving you the oldest first, it's going to give you the newest first. So when I do that, the first image is from 2023. So that's nice and recent. The next one is from 2023. The third one is from 2023. So you get the point. And you can go in to the record to look at the image. You can click on the image to make it large. You can copy paste into your assignment as needed. And don't forget, when you use images, you also have to cite those in your research, right? Because your professor will want to know where that came from. So to do that, you will scroll to the bottom of the page, and you have information here on how do I cite this image. And then at the bottom, you actually have the original article that the image came from. So if I go into how do I cite this image, it'll tell me it's okay to cite the original article. But if your professor has asked you to give a very specific reference for any images that you're using, I'm going to scroll down to APA. It gives you the APA citation for the article, and then the APA citation for the actual image, and you would put both in your references list, okay? And again, if you gave me your email or a way to get a hold of you, I can send this to you after the presentation. I usually wait till after the presentation, so if there are any questions, I can make sure to include that information in the PowerPoint when I send it out. Okay. Any questions on anything we've talked about? No, not yet? Okay. All right. Well, very good. All right. So let's go in. We've been talking a lot about information technology. Let's just do a quick and easy search in the database to look for some information, an article about information technology. And it pops up right there. I can just click on that. And these are things that people have recently searched for as it relates to information technology in this database. And that's sometimes very helpful to use if you're not sure of a spelling. It can just populate for you. So we're going to do information technology, and I'm going to leave it just as it is. And so we're putting very little in. So this would be an example of when you start your search. I don't know a lot about what I'm looking for yet. I'm just going to see kind of where the conversation is and what might be out there for me to look at. So are we going to get a lot back or a little back? What do you think? How many of you think we'll get a lot of results back, right? Good, yeah, because we're not putting in very much and we're not very specific with what we're looking for. So when we do this search, we get over 800,000 articles. That's a lot, right? So one way that we can make it more specific is we can actually put quotes around our words, just like this. Without the quotes, you're actually looking for three things. You're looking for the word information, you're looking for the word technology, and then the phrase information technology. When I put quotes in, it looks for a phrase, information technology, so those words are right next to each other, okay? So now let's see, we had over 800,000. Just by using quotes, we drop it almost 6,000 articles. So that's a pretty good improvement. Now the system knows that we're looking for that phrase of information technology. And life skills are important here, but also your professor will quite often tell you, I want you to find a book. I want you to find an academic, peer-reviewed, scholarly article. I want you to find a newspaper article or something, but they will give you specific parameters. Oftentimes your professors will tell you to look for that academic article, so that's where we're going to go next. I'm going to limit it to academic journals, and I can do that right here. Sorry, Anthony, moving. We have on the left-hand side, you have different things that you can select, like full text. That's where you can read the entire article all at once. References available, so that's your citation, your bibliography, and peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed means it's a scholarly journal, right? It's an academic journal. References means that that article you're looking for is scholarly research. So if I don't select references and I just do peer-reviewed, I can find things like a book review or a letter to the editor. I can get things that are not scholarly. They might still be relevant for what you're looking at, but not what your professor wants you to use. So if you find that, that's a conversation with your faculty member. And then down here you have academic journals, magazines, trade publications, newspapers, or there you go, book reviews. We have over 2,000 book reviews on that. So let's take a look here as we start to limit some of the information that's coming up. We look at our academic journals. So again, these are articles, book reviews, or letters to the editor. It just means at this point that it came from an academic journal. And we have 139,000, so almost 140,000 articles. We started with 800,000, so we're really narrowing things down. I'm going to select references available. So this means out of those academic journal articles, give me the scholarly research. And so now we have 5,280. That's still a lot, right? So I can limit it to full text. And I think full text is a good tool when you're just getting started because you want to see what's out there and start reading right away, maybe looking at those abstracts. As you get further into your programs of study, you don't want to limit to full text. You might find citations in your search that can be very helpful for you. And if it's not full text in this database, it might be full text in another database that we have, or we can borrow it on your behalf from another library. So don't let that stop you, okay? Now we're down to 3,000 articles. And my date range, it might be hard to see, and I'm going to try to stop moving. On the bottom left, we have a date range right now from 1986 to 2023. So your 1986 items might be relevant if you're doing a historical search on information technology, but we can try to limit this down, let's say the last 5 years. Let's see where we're at. So that's 2018, right? And it will update. And now we have 722. So we're getting there. All right? And so maybe now you're thinking, I want to do information technology, and 722 articles is still a lot for me to look at. So sometimes you will have articles that are written in other languages, so you can limit that. Let's see if that's an option here. All of the articles are in English. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. So at this point, I might really want to start thinking, well, I'm looking at information technology. Maybe I want it to be related to information technology within the United States. So let's put that in. We're going to make that a geographical term. That means that's where the information is taking place. And we have 13 articles. So we've put in a lot more information, right? When we started, we just had a general phrase, a general term. And then we were able to narrow it down where now we have 13 to work with. How many of you think you might be able to look through 13 articles for a project? Suzanne's got her hand up. Yay, Suzanne. Me too, my hand is also up. But you notice on this screen, over here on the right-hand side, if you get stuck, if you're having issues, if you're really getting frustrated, or even if you're not frustrated, you just want some help, your chat screen with the librarian pops up right here. And you can go into that at any time and ask for help. I'm looking for information technology. I'm getting thousands and thousands and thousands of results. I need some help to narrow it down. Can you help me? And they will help you get that narrowed down. What kind of questions do you have for me? Any questions at this point? No questions yet? Okay. And feel free to get up and get snacks if you're hungry while we're working on this. Okay. All right. So this was not the one that I found. Let's go in. Let's say we might be looking at something with racism as related to information technology in the United States, and this first article looks kind of good. We're going to go in and click on the article. And we can find out that this source, this journal, is called Higher Education. It's an article that we're looking at. And then we have subject terms. And we talked about that a little bit earlier, that these are things that the article is about. So it is about information technology. And it takes place in the United States. And it involves higher education or information technologies in colleges and universities. It gives you an abstract here. And an abstract is like a summary. It's a good thing to take a look at before you print or start reading the full article, just so you have an idea, does it really match your interest or what you're looking to study. On the side over here, you have options for HTML. And that's where an article is written to be machine readable. The format is machine readable, so if you have any type of visual impairment, the machine can read the information for you, right? The computer can read it out loud. And I like to scroll through these. This one doesn't seem to have it. Where the difference between HTML and PDF is important is if you do not have a visual impairment, the HTML, instead of putting a graph or a chart in for you to look at, it will have to give you a description. So the computer can read the information for you. And if you don't need that read to you, sometimes looking at that chart or graph will be much more helpful for you. And I'm not finding an example here in this one. I have another example we can look at. We're going to go back, and I did my search differently. So I'm just going to pull up a quick article here for us to take a look at. That is strange. All right, one more try here. I think it's saving my other search, and it's looking for my results in that previous search. There we go. All right. I didn't go out far enough was what was happening. So we had it narrowed down to what, 30 articles, I think. And so it was looking for this information within the 30 articles. That's why it wasn't working. So I was looking at this article over the weekend, and we have the option here to view it in HTML or PDF. So let's go take a look at the HTML first. And you'll see here that it's just a lot of text, right? And you're going to see some references in the text to graph 1, figure 1, graph 2, figure 2, things of that nature. And then there will be a descriptive sentence. Here's one, graph figure 2, frequency of community event types, and it gives a 1 to 2 sentence description of what that chart looks like. When you go into the PDF version, again, if you do not need the assistive technology to help access the content, you can see on the screen that you're getting graphs with colored bars that don't show up on the HTML version. So for some of you, it might be much easier to digest or use the content in the PDF version. Okay. This for me would be difficult, this one here with the red and blue bar graph, would be difficult for me to get the material I need from a descriptive sentence. So again, if you don't need the assistive technology, using the PDF will be really helpful for you. Okay, all right. Let's go back. So this article was written by somebody named Claudia Lopez. Second author is Brian Butler. And then you have Peter Rosakowski, something like that. And this was written in 2014. And here you have the page numbers. And let's back up to the beginning search screen. New search. We'll just clear all that out. And we talked a little bit about cited references in the beginning. So you might not need to use this. It's just something that you can use if you find an author you like. This is another way to search for them. You can put the information in, Butler, and he was cited in that article in 2014. So let's see what we can find. So we have a couple of articles. We have challenges to developmental screening and primary care, Mars molecular imaging, conjugated acid, treatment technologies for mining, and reference to technologies, again, for mining water. So it looks like 4 and 5 are the same article. Some of these just don't seem to be information technology related, but they have the same author name, right? So what I wanted to point out to you was when you go back and pull up your article, at the bottom you will have information on your authors. Okay, we're going in here. And at the bottom of the article, we'll just use the HTML. All the way at the bottom. This article had 3 authors, so they collaborated. They could be from the same school or same company. They could be from different ones. So Claudia Lopez is from the University of Pittsburgh. The Brian Butler we're looking for is from the University of Maryland. And Peter is also from the University of Pittsburgh. So if you're going to use citations, you want to make sure that the author you're looking for is from the same university, that you're not pulling up somebody else with the exact same name. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay, good. All right. We also have an option to do an advanced search in here. We did a basic. Now we're going to go into an advanced search. We'll clear all this out. Advanced search. You guys see the screen just looks the same. But we're going to talk about some different options because down here you have all this great stuff that you can play with. And one of the first things is Boolean and Boolean phrase. Boolean searching is, it defines logical relationships between words. There are 3 Boolean, we call them operators. One is and, one is or, and one is not. And you can see an example of it right here. So you're looking for this and this. Or you could be looking for this phrase or subject area or this one. Or you could put in not. So and always takes precedence. It will always look for and first. And combined search. I want this and this in one search. Or means I want this or this. So an example of and could be, I want travel and Europe. Both those things together in an article. Or could be, I want college or university. It doesn't have to use both those words, but it's going to be either college or university in that article. And then not will exclude one of those words. So you could have bass, not guitar, or not fish. Does that make sense? Because you have bass as a fish and bass guitar, and they're spelled the same way. So if you're looking for information on fish, you do not want guitar results. Does that make sense? Yeah. Don't you use one with cookies, Suzanne?
Yes.
It's a great one since we're probably hungry.
Cookies.
Yeah.
If you're doing computer cookies, I usually will say not recipes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I want to have it, eliminate that.
Yeah.
Or ice hockey, not field, because I don't want field hockey.
Yeah. Good examples. Yeah, great. Great, thank you. Okay, so that's how to use Boolean a little bit. So find all my search terms is your next option, and that means all of the terms you put in are going to be returned in your results. Find any of my search terms could mean, I'm looking for college, I'm looking for university, I'm looking for higher education, something in that field. You don't have to have all of those terms returned. And then smart text searching here is the last one, and that's kind of like a Google search where you can just keep typing. You might put in a couple of sentences, the field will expand, it will get bigger to accommodate whatever it is you're typing, and then it will search for the keywords and whatever you put in. So on this one, again, I stuck with information technology, and then I thought I would try diversity. And with this search, information technology, instead of just putting it in this way or adding my quotes, I'm going to try searching by a subject term. So that means I want all the articles returned to me to be about information technology. And then I tried a all text search for diversity, and that means that anywhere in the text of that article, you're going to find the word diversity. So let's see what happens with that. And I left it as a Boolean phrase, so I want to change that to and. I want something about information technology and the word diversity to be in my results. Okay. And I get a little over 3,000 results. So do you remember the last search was super broad and we had over 800,000 results? Nobody has time to read 3,000 either, but it's significantly less, right? So let's, on this one, let me go back here. I forgot to do this on my page. I was so excited, I just went ahead of myself. So we have information technology as a subject. See, when I go back, it dumps all my stuff. Subject. In diversity, we put in as text, right? And then I really want to limit my dates. So once you get your results, you can limit by year. But if you want to limit even more granularly by month, you have to do that on this page. So I want to have results that go from January of 2019 and then let's say August of this year, 2023. Maybe I'm looking for something that happened like right pre-COVID, right before that started, and then how has that information changed since? That could be a reason for that type of date range, and then I'm going to search. So I have a subject, I have something in the text field, I have a very specific date range, and now I'm down to about 600 articles. So it went from 3,000 to 600 by limiting the date range, right? And again, we're just getting started perhaps, so maybe you really want to look at just full text. I want all the information to be there right now so I can use it. And we have 581. If I want references available, see where I'm at down here, references? You can click all of these and just do it at once, but I want to show you the difference as we go through. I'm looking for references, right? Now how many do I have? I don't know if you can see it, but I have 66. So I had about 600, now I have 66. and I've asked for articles that are in full text with references. What do you think is going to happen? You don't have to shout it out, but what do you think is going to happen when I click on academic journals, right? Do you think that number is going to change? Do you think it'll stay the same? Sorry, I meant to click on peer reviewed, I apologize. It's going to stay the same, and the reason is your articles that have citations and have references are going to be in your academic journals. So if I just select academic journals or peer-reviewed, that means that the source of that information is coming from a peer-reviewed publication. So again, I could have book reviews or letters to the editor, things like that, but those things won't have your references. So if you're specifically looking for scholarly research, it will have references. So that's why the number didn't change, okay? So now we're down to 66. Maybe at this point you're thinking, that's still kind of a lot. Maybe I want to limit it to a geographical area. You could limit it to a population. Maybe you're looking for information technology and diversity in senior citizens or in younger people. I'm going to go back and limit it to the United States. If I could spell it correctly, that would be very helpful. And again, you have here something as an example with these Boolean terms, United States or America or USA or U.S. or United States of America. You don't want all of those words in there, but you just want the idea of it. So that's an example of a Boolean operator. But I'm going to leave it as United States, and I'm going to go and select on geographic terms. So right now we're at 66, and when I run this search, it's going to give me 2 articles. How many of you can take a look at 2 articles? Yes. All right. And then again, if you get stuck, you have a chat with the librarian over here on your right-hand side. So that's my presentation for today. What questions? Do you have any questions? Do you feel maybe a little more comfortable about using a database like this? You do? Awesome. Okay. Good. All right. Again, if you want a PowerPoint afterwards, please leave your contact information so I can get that out to you. Help yourself to snacks. If you don't have any questions, I can stop talking. Yay. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. This is really exciting. Glad to have you here in the library today. Thank you.
Seminars, right? Isn't that it?
Yes.
September 27th, it's a Wednesday from 12:30 to 1:30.
That's our first one, but we have them throughout the semester. They'll be at lunchtime on Friday?
Wednesdays. Those are
Wednesdays, I
Tomorrow's
apologize.
Fridays.
Yeah, on Wednesdays. And again, pizza and soda for lunch, so we keep you fed and healthy while you're down here learning about cool stuff. So that's this flyer.
And we have an evening event
Yes.
that we have in October.
Yes. Oh, yes, we do.
You want to tell about that?
No, go ahead.
Spooky Stories. It will be Thursday,
October 26th.
26th,
Yeah.
7 p.m.
I think 7 p.m. We're still working out the
Right here.
details, but it'll be down here. We're going to have some creepy stories, fun Halloween snacks. Yeah, we've got a couple of people coming in from SODA, so the Society of Dramatic Arts. They're the people who put on the plays. And one of our staff members is going to be reading, and I think we have a couple of faculty members also.
All right.
It is growing. It's kind of getting out of hand at this point, but so many people want to participate. So come on down, and if you have a spooky story or something, we might have open mic a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but what kind of time we've got.
And somebody asked me already about costumes, and
Oh,
costumes
yes,
are
please
certainly
wear
not
costumes.
required for it, but are completely welcome.
Absolutely. Costumes are always welcome down here. So, in database-ized, when's our next one?
Oh, let's see. Our next one is
It's October, right?
October 23rd, Monday, October 23rd. It's on Material Connection, comprehensive materials database for engineers and architects. So you can learn about what you can find in there and how to use that. Right here, same time, same place. With snacks.
With snacks, yeah. So, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.